Hi, welcome to Yaya's Reading Nook. My name is Stephanie, and today I'm going to do a book haul for you, part one. Because part one, if I didn't divide it into at least two parts, we'd be here all day. Let's just put it that way, all day, all night, into tomorrow. I miss half of work, so we're going to do part one today, and I'll have part two up. Hopefully in a couple of days, next week, we'll see. So I got these books from Walmart, McKay's in Nashville. So I'll tell you about it. Book of the month, Parnassus Books in Nashville, and a bookstore in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and another bookstore in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. And let's see, what else? That's all. Oh, these are from like June, July, August, and part of this month. Actually, the book of the months are from this month because I haven't gotten anything. Well, I have, but I'll tell you about that one in the next one. So anyway, our first book, two books, are from Walmart. You know, I should probably really do Walmart delivery or Walmart pickup in the little where you go and tell them you're here, because I always end up buying a book. Do I need more books? My kids would tell you no. Mom, you don't. You have two storage sheds and a bedroom full of books. You don't. But guess what? I don't have to listen to my children. So, anyway, book number one, I already read. I read it last summer, actually. And it's called The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. And look at the ends. This is why I bought it, actually. And I had already listened to it. And then I saw it in Walmart, and I kind of want to read it again so I can annotate it with all these little tabs I have. What she does is the Fox family has a lakeside compound, basically. The grandparents have the big building, and then all the children, siblings, and their families have smaller cottages. And they go up there every year, and they play this game. And every year, Meredith's sister Claire won it. Well, this year, Meredith has decided she's going to win it. And she kind of has a little crush over the season. So it was a really good book. It was a YA book, so I didn't have high expectations for it. I think I gave it like a 3.75. I don't remember, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, I saw it and decided I may want to read it again when I move, because I'm supposed to be moving in. Well, my son in Virginia says at the first of the year, and I say, are you going to drive a U-Haul if it's snowy or icy? So anyway, I'm going to reread this when I have all my books set up on all the bookcases I'll need to buy, and I can just look at them and feel the love off of my books. Anyway, so that's that one. The second one I bought because I heard nothing but good things about it from people who have read it, and they say don't read the book because you want to look at the pictures in it. And I'm going to read it for spooky, I think it's spooky season, which is like next month in October, and it's Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. And the premise is there's a lady or a girl who becomes the family's nanny, and the little boy Teddy's really cute, and he likes to draw, and he likes to draw cute little pictures like this, and she's okay with that until he starts drawing more disturbing pictures. It goes from that cute little picture to this, to other horror things. It's a national bestseller. I had never heard of it. Stephen King blurbed it. I can't read it because blind to one eye can't see out the other. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've never read anything by this guy. I don't even know if he's written anything else, but we'll soon find out. The next two I got when I went to McKay's bookstore. Now, McKay's bookstore, if you don't know, if you don't live in the Tennessee, Nashville type area, I live an hour north of Nashville. So all my doctors are at Vanderbilt. And when I go to Vanderbilt to see a doctor or have a test done or whatever, I usually try to do it early in the morning, so by the time I get out, I can go by McKay's, whether I have books to turn in or not, because you can sell your books, your DVDs, your CDs, vinyl, probably your Legos, the little Boppy dolls, the Squishmallows. You know what I'm talking about. You can sell them, get something back, and then you can get like store credit. And one time I got like almost $200 in store credit, and I was like, oh, okay. But anyway, so I was just kind of wandering through, and I saw this one, and it was at one time a book of the month. Hey, Jack.
Uh-huh.
Hang on, hang on.
Uh-huh.
Come this way. Come this way. And today we're going to be joined by Jack, and he has on clothes today. Don't scream. Don't scream. Can you say hey? Yay. Can you say hey? He's got the bad hair. He's got the Uncle Ryan hair today. Can you say bye? No, bye to the camera, not bye to Daddy. Can I have a kiss?
Okay.
Mwah. Bye-bye. Okay.
Sorry.
That was the one who runs the household. Anyway, so I went to McKay's, and this is a book that was a book of the month book at one time, and I'm going to sorry about that. But I never got it, and it's historical fiction, I think, with a little bit of magical realism, and I've heard a lot of good things about it. So McKay's had it for like $3, and I was like, okay, $3. It's not going to break my bank. It'll come close, but it won't break it. And I'm just going to read it during sometime, I don't know when, and see what all the hubbub is about. And then I saw this book for a couple of dollars, and I'm like, okay, everybody and their grandma loves this author. Have I ever read anything by this author? No. But I want to read the book because it's a historical fiction book, and it's Taylor Jenkins Reid's Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. All I know is there's a girl that comes to Evelyn Hugo to write her memoir, and she learns all about Evelyn's life as probably like a Hollywood person. It's given off a lot of Elizabeth Taylor vibes, because I think Elizabeth Taylor ended up having 7 husbands. Or was it 8? So the next group are my Book of the Month books. And I'm going to start with June. And when I bought them, I meant to read them right away. And I didn't. I did with one, and there's a reason for that. But the first one I bought is an autobiography for me. I don't care if he puts his grocery list and his colonoscopy report in a book. I'm going to read it. But it's S.A. Cosby's King of Ashes. Has anyone read this? Because I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about it. I've heard a lot of people say they didn't like Razor Blade Tears, and I'm thinking, how could you not? That was an excellent book. But I think I had the audio at one time, and the library I get my audiobooks from only gives you a week, and I didn't get it listened to in time, so I'm going to look on my other one. I have like 3 library cards. I actually have 4, but the Library of Congress doesn't do like normal libraries do. So I think I'm going to look on my other library card and see if they have it, because they'll give you 3 weeks to listen to it. But that's what I want to do with this one. And it's about a guy who's making it big in Atlanta, and he gets a phone call, I think from his sister, saying, Dad's been hurt, come home, and he goes home to take care of the problem. So also, I always try to do an add-on, because I figure, why not? So I also bought that month Julia Clark's The Ghostwriter. I know a little bit about this because everybody's read it. I'm tardy to that party, but not so tardy I'm going to be looked at in a bad way. But this is about a man who, when he was young, his brother and sister, I think, were killed in a house fire, and people were wondering how he survived. And many, many years later, his daughter's a ghostwriter, and he's decided he's going to tell what really happened, and she's going to write the story for him. So I'm really looking forward to this. This is one of the ones I think I want to get to by the end of the year. I think I'm going to read it next month. I'm putting the ones I want to read next month in a pile so I'll know which ones they are. But anyway, have you read it? Did you like it? I'm about to move you people over because I feel like I'm falling off the edge here. The next one was July's pick. And I have several by this author. Have I read any? The answer would be no. But it's Megan Miranda's newest one. You Belong Here or You Don't Belong Here. I think I've heard people talking about it, and it's about a woman who had went to a college and something happened, so she left town, and the only reason she's going back is her daughter's now of college age, and she wants to go to the same college mom went to. So there's a mystery in there somewhere. I think we're going to find out what happened, and somebody died. Who died? I don't know. So during July, I decided to buy a nonfiction book, a memoir. And this is I Regret Almost Everything by Keith McNally. He's a British, I think he's from London, and he has done all sorts of jobs. He's actually a restaurateur and chef in a bunch of different restaurants, and I think he's one of his current status as one of New York City's leading restaurateurs and icons. I'm going to read this one sometime soon. I think I'm just going to make up a nonfiction month. I know there's one sometime. Is it Nonfiction November? I don't know. Anyway, I try to read a nonfiction at least every other month. Do I get around to it? No, but I try. And this one I got in August, and I read it in August before. Yeah, I read it in August because in September I went to meet the author at Parnassus Books in Nashville, and it is Forget Me Not by Stacy Willingham. And this is about a woman whose sister had vanished when the woman was like 11 or 12. She watched her sister climb out of her bedroom window, get in a car with the man, and drive off. And she was never found. Well, she's been called home because she's living in New York. She's been called home by her dad to help her mom out. And she goes home and she decides to find out what happened to her sister. And she goes on the hunt for the person who she had gotten the car with and who she had gotten, hooked up with. Did she go somewhere? Was she, just taken away and killed and her body dumped? What happened to her? And I have all of Stacy Willingham's books, but I never read anything by her. I was at work reading this book, and I seriously had to tell myself, you do need this job, so get off your butt, break time, lunchtime's over, get up, go back to work. Because I always joke, I have one more paragraph or the rest of this page, and they're like, yeah, come on when you get done. But I was seriously saying, I'm not getting up till I find out what's going on. So, and Stacy Willingham, not only did she sign my book, personalize it, but she did it with the other three too. And she didn't have to do that because they all came from Book of the Month. She is so sweet. She got a little baby girl. She didn't bring her with her. But she's writing on her 5th book, and it is based in Fairhope, Alabama. So, oh my South Alabama people. She's also talked about maybe basing one in Mobile. And I gave her the hint, why don't you go to Mardi Gras and experience Mardi Gras season and experience Jokane Day and maybe have something happen during there. Because if you don't know about Jokane Day, y'all need to look it up. By the way, Mobile is the inventor of Mardi Gras, not Nolans. So the next book I got was another nonfiction because Stephanie's going to read nonfiction. And this was my August add-on, and it's The Man No One Believed, The Untold Story of the Georgia Church Murders by Joshua Sharp. I know nothing about it. I don't like to go into my nonfiction knowing anything because, and I try not to go into my fiction knowing anything either, because if you know what's going on, then why do you need to read it? So, looking forward to getting to that one. Now, my September's one I am saving for spooky season because everybody seems to be buying it and everybody seems to be reading it and reading this author. I've never read anything by her, and I actually don't have anything else by her. But if I like it, I'll start reading her stuff. It's Rachel Harris's Play Nice. It's about a spooky house. Halloween spooky houses, that's all we needed to know. And I think this girl, it says it's just waiting for you to come inside. Oh. Is it possessed? Is there a ghost in there? I don't know. I don't want to know until I read it. Oh, and if y'all heard screaming in the background, my oldest grandson's autistic and he has these meltdowns, and little brother was watching the show when he wanted to watch something, so need I say more? Or it's just two brothers getting into it. So my add-on for this month was To the Moon and Back by Elena Ramage. And this is about an indigenous, I think the first Cherokee female astronaut. So I haven't really read anything with indigenous people in it for a long time. I've read, what is it, The Thousand Women, which was about women in New York asylums, or who were put in asylums because their husband just didn't feel the need for them anymore, or they embarrassed their parents. And those women, they picked 1,000 of them to go west and marry Indians and try to civilize them. And Crow Mary was another one I read that is really good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Do I try to read an indigenous every once in a while? I don't specifically look for them, but if I find one that I'm pretty sure I'm going to like, I do. So my next group are from Goodreads. Now, we all know that Goodreads, if you're on it, you can go to this little section that says giveaways. And I don't know how many of you do this, but I go on there, and if I like the cover, if it's historical fiction, mystery thriller, or contemporary or memoir, I just click. Sometimes I may not see anything for like 3 or 4 months, and then sometimes I may get 2 or 3 in a month. So this is over the last 3.5 months. No particular order because I don't write that down. But I don't know anything about them, and I don't want to know anything about them. So the first one is The Gossip Columnist's Daughter by Peter Orner. And I don't know, this is why I picked it, this cover. And it said it was historical fiction. I don't know anything about it, but I'm assuming it's about gossip columnists. I don't know. Let's see if I can read this. I can with my handy-dandy magnifying glass. Convinced that the key to unraveling of his own life is tied to the tragic death of a young Hollywood starlet, an unheralded writer embarks on a quest to solve the cold case. A new novel by a major talent, that's by the New York Times, and one of the most distinctive voices of his generation. Granta wrote that. I've never heard of Granta. But yeah, it's a mystery, historical fiction all in one. The next one I got was The Salt Stones by Helen Whybrow, and it's the season of a shepherd's life. And I looked at this one, and I think that this lady went out and bought a ranch with sheep, and it's telling like a year in her life and how she had to adjust from one way of living to another way of living. It's nonfiction. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that one. Let's see if I can read this. Sheep have helped me become a good shepherd, not just to them, but to a place that is my sustenance and joy, as well as my unending labor and worry. So yeah, her sheep, not her What did I say? I don't know what I said. Anyway, the next one is Town and Country by Brian Schaefer. It comes out November 4th. And this is about some people that are highbrow. They own all these houses by themselves, and they get into kind of like a little bit of an argument with people coming in to buy them as like second homes. And it sounds like it's going to be a lot of neighborhood drama. That's what I want. Drama in the cul-de-sac. The next one is a historical fiction. And it should be out already. But it's The Book of Lost Hours by Haley Gilfuso. I think it is, because I think that I actually saw it at Parnassus. And it's got actually 3 timelines. Nuremberg, 1938, 1949, and then 1965. Anyway, when I read it, I'll let you know. I'm going to take a really quick sip of water because, as you can tell, my throat is killing me. It's raining outside, and this happens quite often, so excuse me for 5 seconds. Next one is Fairweather Friend by Jessica Garcia. I don't have anything by her. I've never read anything by her, but this is about a young weather meteorologist who everyone calls the Fairweather Friend because her name is Faith. And she's in between broadcasts one night, and she goes out, I guess probably get something to eat, and she never returns. And so they're on the lookout as to where is Faith, what happened to her, is something going on that we don't know about, or was it just something random that happened? Looking forward to this one because there's that mystery. And January of 2026. Yeah. So I got time to read this. And the last one that I got is by Colm Toibin. Is that how you say his name? It's Long Island. And it is the second part of Brooklyn, which I haven't read yet. I got it from the library, and I really need to read it because this is a continuation. This girl, her name is something, Elise Levy. She comes to the country and marries a guy, Italian American. And years later, when she's in her 40s and she's got 2 teenage children, somebody comes and knocking on her door and says, "Your husband got my wife pregnant. When the baby gets here, it's all yours." So it's just like her years as being a wife, and did she really miss out on doing what she probably wanted to do, I think, in the beginning. So looking forward to this one, but I've got to read Brooklyn because although it's an older book, I was on hold for like a month. So this one's already out. I've seen it in stores too. So I'm pretty sure people are going, let me go back and read Brooklyn or read it for the first time to see exactly what's going on. So now we're going to go to Nashville, Tennessee. And there's a bookstore there owned by Ann Patchett, Tom River, The Dutch House, Tom Lake, The Dutch House, and other books. And she has a bookstore there. And that's where I saw Stacey Willingham and J.T. Ellison, because J.T. Ellison was doing the questioning to Stacey Willingham. And they both were signing books, but I didn't get J.T. Ellison to personalize mine. I just bought books that she had signed. I'd never heard of her, y'all. And she writes under 2 names, apparently. One is mystery thrillers, and I think the other one is fantasy. You'd have to look her up to find out. I don't remember. But anyway, so the first time I went there was when I went from my very first book club. No, it wasn't. It was one day when I went there to just see what was going, see what it was like. Because I went with my son that I live with one time on my birthday, and he's not a book person, so he couldn't have cared less. And I wanted to go back and just look around, walking around a bookstore, whether there's nobody there or a lot of people there, I'm in the zone. I'm like this, and I don't see people, I don't hear things. So when I went there looking around, that's when I discovered they had book clubs. But I found this book, and it's actually autographed. It's Hannah Brown, and it's The 4 Engagement Rings of Sybil Rain. And Sybil has been engaged 4 times. And she has decided after her 4th engagement failed, she's going to use the vouchers for the honeymoon that she was supposed to take in a year prior and take herself on a vacation. The problem is she runs into the 4th fiance that I think dumped her at the altar. So to tell him something, anything, because I think he's with another woman, she's, oh, I'm here with my boyfriend. And she finds her 2nd fiance, and I think she starts trying to use him as her boyfriend. I don't know. It's like a rom-com gone bad is what it sounds like. But I'm looking forward to it. And then my first book club was The Great Divide by Christina Enriquez. It's up on my shelf somewhere. I'm not going to pull it down. But when I was there, they were telling us what was coming up next. And of course I had to buy them because it's what you're supposed to do when you go to a bookstore. So last month's book club pick was Leaving by Roxana Robinson. I started it. Did I finish it? No. Am I going to? I'm not sure. Because it's about a man and woman who, when they were in college, when they graduated, he wanted to go see the world for a while. She didn't. She wanted to settle down, start a family, blah, blah, blah. So they broke up. And she married, probably from what people were talking about, a nice guy who would settle down and be a provider and all that stuff. Well, she has a job too. And many years later, like 20 years later, her kids are grown. She's divorced from that guy because she didn't really love him. She just wanted someone who could settle down with her. And the guy is still married. And they run into each other at an opera and start talking, and then they start having an affair. Well, he has a daughter who, from what everyone said, is apparently quite manipulative. He is quite the cad. He has cheated on his wife for 20 years. I may read it at some time, just not right now. I'm not in the mood for cheaters, because once a cheater, always a cheater. But while I was there at book club, picking up that book for that month I didn't read, I also picked up one for the Classics Book Club. Why did you just sigh? You may be asking me on the video. Because I don't read classics. Not really. And I've certainly never read this book, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. If you have, tell me what it's about. Am I going to like it? Am I not going to like it? I just like the cover. I thought the cover was cute. It looks like one of them hoity-toity, old-timey things. So, yeah, the only thing I ever read was by Charlotte Bronte, and I don't remember what it was, but it was in high school, and we had to read it for this one class, and we never talked about it, which was a good thing because all I could say was I hated it. And did you know this is the 75th anniversary of 1984? Very apropos to this time in our lives. Actually, to other times in our lives, like North Korea. Think about it. But here's Big Brother looking at us. And I've got 2 other copies that I bought. One of them is a hardback. And I started reading it so I could annotate in it. And I don't write in my books. I don't underline, I don't highlight, I don't dog ear. I cringe when I see people that do it. But you do you. But when I highlight or when I annotate in my hardback book, I have these clear plastic sticky note things that you can get off Amazon. And you can write on them so it doesn't bleed through. So I may go back and reread this simply because it's the 75th anniversary. And then for this month's coming up month, we are reading The Wilds by Lois Banyard. And it's about Oscar Wilde and his wife and their family. Did you know he was married? I didn't know anything about him. I knew he was a writer. I don't know if he wrote like stories or poems or I don't know. If you know what he wrote, let me know. Because I might pick up something of his. So this past book club, I was walking around. Well, I'll show you what I got when I went to meet Stacey Willingham. J.T. Ellison has a bunch of books out. I only bought 2. And good Lord, how many pages do I have to flip? But she signed both of my books. I'm not going to stick them up there because I had to flip like 6 pages to find this. But these are her mystery thrillers. Last Scene. Don't know what it's about. I don't like going into thrillers and mysteries like that. And It's One of Us. Same thing. Everybody lies, even the ones you think you know best of all. And this one says, manufactured memories give way to a sinister new reality. That sounds interesting. So this past, whatever it was, August 15th, this past Monday, when I was at book club, I was looking around, and she's like, we're going to read this book at this month, and next month, or this coming month in October, is The Wilds. Then the next month is going to be Ruth Ware's The Woman in Cabin 10. It's to be a Netflix show starring Nicole Kidman. I tried reading it one time, and I just couldn't get into it, but maybe I was not in the right frame of mind, but I was reading a library book, so I didn't care. But since I bought this book and paid good money for it, I care. And I kind of want to be able to discuss instead of just sit there and listen to everybody else. So I will read this, but not until it's time for the November book club. Then, how I say, I never read classics. I kind of think Agatha Christie is the classics of murder mysteries because she did it for so many years and she was so good at it. And I was looking around, and there's not like a humongous section of regular fiction or a huge section of mystery thrillers because the bookshop is really not that big. There's like 2 or 3 bookshelf things. So I found this one, and it's Agatha Christie's Partners in Crime. Tommy and Tuppence mystery. Maybe it's kind of like Hardy Boys. One of the Hardy Boys meets Nancy Drew or something. And then this is a book I've been wanting to get for a long time, and I just haven't gotten it. It's the winner of, I think it was last year's Pulitzer Prize. Was it last year? Let me pull out the handy dandy magnifying glass. It doesn't say. But it's also a National Book Award winner. And it's Percival Everett's James. And this is telling the story of the slave James from, I think it was Huck Finn, who ran away, and this is his story of it, not Huck's. I read Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer when I was young, and when I was young, there was no such thing as being politically correct or doing this or doing that. And I liked them. And I still have, I think I bought the books from McKay's one time. So I have them somewhere. I don't know if it's in my bedroom here or in my storage here in town. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading James. And then I saw this one and I thought, oh, it's signed. I'll see my thing here. I have a thing about signed books. But I've never heard of this author. I don't know if this is her debut novel or if she has more. But Fannie Flagg said, I couldn't have loved it more. And it's The Empress of Cook County. And it's about Posey Jarvis knows she's the rightful Empress of Cook County. She just needs to make everyone else aware of it. So I'm thinking Southern. The women who wear the pearls all the time. I have a friend, Anne Marie. She always wears pearls. But I'm talking about the women who just sit at the hairdresser and gossip. And who are the church ladies who look down their nose at people but would probably be doing the same thing if they didn't think they would get caught. I think that's who Posey is. I will find out because I'm really wanting to read that one. And we're coming to the very end. So, when in August, I went to Oklahoma to see my son Matthew and meet his friend Paige. So, hi Matt and Paige, if you're watching. If you're not, your name is Matt or Paige. How do you do? Hi to everyone, actually. And Matthew and I have this thing. We go to a bookstore called Gardner's every time I go visit. So we went to Gardner's the first full day I was there. We also went and had seafood at this place that, looking at it, it looks like a sketch, but it's really good. But I had started listening to some of Karen Slaughter's books. And I listened to False Witness and the very last Will Trent book, which was This Is Why We Lied. And I really liked him. Beth over at Beth Morvant, I will try to link her below, is a Karen Slaughter fan. So I thought I would get a couple of Karen Slaughter books. Hopefully they're close to the first part of the series because I want to start with the beginning and work my way down. But alas, I was wrong. This is After That Night, and I didn't know Will Trent was on ABC, which I don't have. But it's the 11th in the series. So I'll have to just hang on to it. And this is kind of like a dual timeline. It's about Sarah Litton, and 15 years prior, she was a med student, and she was working and went to either change clothes or went to the restroom and was attacked and assaulted. And that guy went to prison because he was a janitor there, and he attacked her and assaulted her without wearing a mask. Basic rule with a casual criminalist, let's say, is don't let anyone see your face. Anyway, 15 years later, she is a doctor, and she's in the ER one night, and this girl is brought in. She had passed out and ran into one of the ambulances in the ambulance bay. But there's all sorts of things wrong with her. She's been assaulted. She's been, I think, stabbed and beaten. And she doesn't remember everything, but she knows she was drugged. And she says, please make sure he goes to jail. And so Sarah is out to find the person that did this and make sure he goes to jail. The next book I bought by Karen Slaughter is not anything I know. I know nothing about it. That's what I meant to say. And it is The Kept Woman. Pretty sure it's not a Will Trent book, or it would say Will Trent. But Gillian Flynn said I'd follow her anywhere. I guess she's talking about Karen Slaughter, not the woman in the book. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to read all this. But Sarah Litton is in this one. Oh, yeah, it is one of the Will Trent books. I don't know what number, but it's called The Kept Woman. I guess I better find out before I read it. Maybe it's up in the top 2 or 3. Who knows? And then the last one I bought was one by an author I've read. A couple of her books. I read Snowflower and the Secret Fan and China Dolls, and it's Lisa C. And that's not the right one. Hang on, y'all. Goodness gracious. Actually, you have to read Shanghai. This is one I've had for a while. You have to read Shanghai Girls before you can read the one that I bought, because this is the sequel to it. And it is Dreams of Joy. And Joy is the daughter of one of the Shanghai Girls. And that's all I know. But it was blurbed, not by people, but by places like the New York Times and stuff like that. So anyway, oh yeah, and there was one more place. There is a bookstore in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, called Marigold. It's a cute little bookstore, and they just celebrated their first year. And when I was looking online, I found it, and I asked my son, I said, have you ever heard of this place? He goes, oh yeah, that's where Paige goes and has book club, I think. And we've been there a couple of times. So we went there. We met Paige because we were going to see Naked Gun. If you haven't seen it, oh my gosh, it's so funny. If you remember the original Naked Guns, you would catch the humor. I didn't buy a book, but I bought this tote bag, and I really like it. It has my library books that need to go back. Probably have needed to go back for a while in it. But anyway, that is round 1 of what has Stephanie bought since June. Round 2 will probably be shorter, but there is one. I don't know if you know if this store sells books or not, but you will soon find out. Anyway, have you read any of the books that I showed you guys? Did you like them? Did you not like them? What have you been reading? Have you been keeping up with your favorite college and professional football? Bama didn't have a game this week, so I didn't really watch anything. I had the TV on, but I wasn't paying that much attention to it. Anyway, it is raining here. It's a miserable day, but a great day to be reading. So you guys have a great day, have a great week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.